favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, before us we have the agenda with the following items: registration of participant, briefing, statement, question and answer session, then closing. Can you go through the agenda? If there's any need to do any amendment, you can do so. Then finally we can adopt.
I move that the agenda be adopted.
Somebody move that we adopt the agenda without amendment, and it has been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda without amendment. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The agenda is therefore adopted. The second item on the agenda is the briefing statement by the Honorable Chair of the FPAC. Honorable members, HE, the Vice President, Honorable Ministers here present, the Auditor General, Permanent Secretaries, Board of Directors, Heads of Institutions, the Clerk and Support Staff of FPAC, media, and all protocol duly observed. Good morning to you all. It is my honor and privilege as Chairperson of Finance and Public Account Committee, FPAC, of the 6th Legislature to welcome you all to this maiden briefing session with the committee. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of this briefing is to highlight the policy direction of the committee in relation to operations and oversight role over the public institutions, establishment, mandate, and terms of reference. To begin with, the Finance and Public Accounts Standing Committee, FPAC, is established by Section 1091, subsection B of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, and draws its mandate from Orders 8197 and 112 of the revised standing orders of the National Assembly. It is entrusted with the responsibility of exercising functions of the National Assembly in considering and advising upon all matters concerned with the public finance and public accounts. In the execution of its mandate, FPAC has the following key functions. 1, identify, monitor, and collaborate with all ministries, departments, and agencies of the government responsible for public finance matters. 2, examine accounts showing the appropriation of sums granted by the Assembly to meet the public expenditure and such other accounts laid before the Assembly, as the Assembly may refer to the committee together with the Auditor General's report thereon. 3, scrutinize, review, and consider audited financial statements, activity reports, and management letters of the public agencies, departments, hospitals, public tertiary institutions, councils, and the central government accounts. 4, approve extension of deadlines where necessary for submission of reports of public agencies to the Assembly. And 5, monitor the performance and viability of public agencies in relation to public service. 6, receive and review bills, acts, strategic plans, and other measures relating to government or public agencies, and provide advice on improving text and implementing mandates. 7, appoint appropriately qualified auditor or firm auditors to audit the accounts of the National Audit Office. And 8, receive and review loan or grant agreements relating to public finance and give advice before ratification. 9, table report of meetings held in every session to the National Assembly. And 10, agree to protocol with government or Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs on the administrative arrangement for the scrutiny of the annual draft budget and other related budgetary matters. 11, table the consolidated report of the committees on the scrutiny of the national budget to the National Assembly. And 12, give periodic and annual report on state of affairs of the public finance management by the government and public agencies to the National Assembly. The members of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, the current composition of the committee is as follows. Honorable Alhaji S. Dabo, my humble self, the chairperson. Honorable Alhaji Mbo, the vice chairperson. Honorable Sidi S. Kenjai, the deputy speaker, member. Honorable Fatumata Njai, member. Honorable Fat Cham, member. Honorable Musa Cham, member. Honorable Cheba Lang Fofana, member. Honorable Cheba Mani Sane, member. Honorable Suleiman Jame, member. The current operational arrangement. During the course of the 5th legislature, public institutions were submitting their activity reports and audited financial statements to their portfolio select or standing committees for scrutiny. However, this was not yielding the desired results. There was no proper coordination on the reporting, and in some instances, non-compliance with the law. Accordingly, the Bureau of Committees, which is tasked by the Assembly to set the policy direction of the committee operations, made and resolved that moving forward, the scrutiny of all public accounts shall be the sole responsibility of the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, FPAC, except for 13 commercial state-owned public enterprises whose accounts shall be submitted to and scrutinized by Public Enterprises Committee, PEG. Furthermore, the Select Committee shall continue to perform their oversight role on ministries, departments, and agencies, and are at liberty to request any document or summon or conduct any oversight visits on institutions within their remit. Committee's oversight session. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, FPAC shall commence its oversight session as per approved schedule from the 20th of June 2022 to 30th October 2022. During this period, the committee shall consider the audited account and financial statement of the Government of the Republic of the Gambia, all public agencies, departments, independent, autonomous, and public institutions, councils, tertiary education institutions, and all public offices, hospitals, etc. Powers of the committee. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to empower the committee to better perform its functions, subsection 3 of section 109 of the 1997 Constitution stipulates as follows. For the purpose of effectively performing its function, each of the committees shall have all the powers, rights, and privileges as are vested in the High Court at a trial in respect of A, enforcing the attendance of witnesses and examining them on oath, affirmation, or otherwise, and B, compelling production of documents, and C, the issue of commission or request to examine witnesses abroad. Thus, moving forward, the sitting procedures of the committee shall be as follows. 1. Engagement with the Finance and Public Accounts Committee takes precedence over all other engagements. Thus, once an officer or institution is summoned to appear before the committee and give excuses for not appearing without a prior authority from the chairperson, he or she or they will be in contempt of committee and will in consequence be subject to a sanction, nature of which will be determined by the committee. 2. Sittings of the committee shall be solemnized by the conduct characterized or sitting of the High Court. And then 3, before presenting any report or testimony, all officials shall take the prescribed oath to be administered by the clerk to the committee. And 4, an official will be held responsible for any disallowed expenditure as a result of his or her negligence, misconduct, or inefficiency. And 5, institutions or officers shall submit both hard and soft copies of their annual activity reports and audited financial statements to the office of the clerk 2 weeks before the date set for scrutiny. Failure to do so will consider to be in contempt of the committee and shall call for reprimand whose nature will be determined by the committee. 6, the committee will begin consideration of activity reports and audited financial statements relating to auditing periods 2016 to 2020, depending on the last year of the submission to the National Assembly. And 7, the committee shall give timeline for the implementation of its recommendations and shall assume responsibility to monitor the implementation of the recommendations through the various select committees and shall hold institutions accountable for not adhering to its dictates. And 8, as provided for in the Standing Order 101 and 2, I quote, within 30 days of the resolution of the National Assembly or adoption of any report of the committee, in this case, FPAC's report, the minister under whose portfolio the matter raised is in the report or contained in the assurance or resolutions fall shall provide a reply to the Assembly. Furthermore, a minister who fails to submit a report under this standing order shall be deemed to be in contempt of the Assembly within the meaning of Section 75(6) of the Constitution, misconduct in office. 9, all permanent secretaries and board controllers at ministries and departments should be present during the presentation and consideration of the government government account to answer questions and make clarifications. Going forward, FPAC will implement the law, that is, the Constitution, Public Finance Statement, State-Owned Enterprises Acts regarding the 3-month and 6 months requirements for the agencies and government, respectively, to submit reports. And 11, failure to comply with the reporting requirements will not prevent FPAC from laying its report at the plenary and making recommendations. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, In conclusion, I would like to seize this opportunity to thank you all for coming to attend this maiden briefing session. I now have the singular honor to open the floor for questions or clarifications. I thank you all. And you want to seek clarifications, you may equally do so. As indicated in the statement, before some of the departments or agencies or institutions used to be submitting your reports to the other standing or select committees, we deem it fit to do it better this time for all institutions to submit, except those listed on the FPAC, to be submitting your respective reports to FPAC. Nonetheless, you will still be needed by those committees in terms of administrative issues or policy issues, or even oversights. And above all, after finalizing our report and submitting to the plenary, and if being adopted, it is now their responsibility to ensure that the reports are implemented and then to do follow-ups as indicated or recommended in the reports. So that means it is not only FPAC that is going to be liaising with the said institutions or agencies. Those that were with FPAC will still be directly under FPAC, but still those who were with the respective institutions, you will still be working hand in glove with them. Only that we have taken the reports submission, the rest will not be taken by them. That's why in your subsequent engagement, you will be receiving notification from them for you to be having meetings with them. For the purpose of reports, that is exclusively now under the purview of FPAC. Honorable Minister.
Use the microphone there. No, use that one there.
That's my.
Mr. Chairman, I've gone through some of the guidelines you just read. And I've also been observing with keen interest that I think there is an oversight that this committee needs to look into. That is, two, you need to clarify for the general good the difference between FPAC and the FPAC for people to know. But I believe some of these institutions, by their acts, their activities should be laid by the Honorable Minister before the National Assembly. And what I see happening, not all of them, for those that have read, it says the Minister shall lay before the National Assembly annual activity report of the institution. And now, what I see happening, you have both the audit report and the activity report being laid to Parliament by managing directors and chairman of Board of Governors, of Governing Council, rather, institution of the board. I think it's important that you revisit some of these acts and see where it says the minister shall lay, and then the minister shall lay before the Assembly and be debated and report to Parliament generally the activity of the institution, nothing to do with the auditing, with the audited accounts. I think it's important that the committee to reflect on that. Thank you.
Okay, noted. Yeah. Whatever, Minister, that's well noted. I think that's why we are all called here, all the ministers and that of the institutions and then agencies, Okay, where the agencies will be reporting directly will be, we've already prepared the schedule, and they'll be reporting to the committee. And where ministers will be reporting, as you indicated, that's for the plenary, that also will be communicated. Now, this time around, the schedule that we have prepared is concerning the institution and then the agencies. They are the ones that we're reporting for the committee sessions, June, July, and then October. These are the sessions we have for this year. And then when we have subsequent ordinary sessions where ministers will be reporting, that will also be indicated in the itinerary of that session. The FPAC, I indicated in the report that we have 13 state-owned enterprises. That should be 13 of them. That should be reporting to PEC, that is state-owned enterprises. And then commercial and non-commercial. With the exception of those 13, all other institutions could be reporting to FPAC.
So the difference is before we used to have a joint session, but now we separate.
Yeah, I understand that before all institutions used to report to what we call FPAC, the joint session. Now that is what has been divided between PEC and then FPAC. So 13 will fall under the category for PEC, and the rest will fall under FPAC. Yes?
Be able to send this list to all heads of institutions and departments and ministries to indicate who reports to FPAC, who reports to FPAC.
Exactly, we'll do so. Any question or? Yes. Can you come down and use the mic?
Good morning. My name is Laminjai, Director of Finance, National Nutrition Agency. I just have a question concerning your point number 10. Going forward, the FPAC will implement the laws, that is the Constitution, Public Finance Act, and State-Owned Enterprise Act, regarding the 3 months and 6 months requirement for agencies and governments respectively to submit report. The report could be activity reports. It could include the financial reports. Probably that is the audited reports. I know coming from the accountancy profession, the country is currently facing challenge in terms of the number required for accountancy, particularly the auditing firms. If you have all this number of institutions that requires to be audited, and you require that the agencies and authorities probably should submit financial statements, audited financial statements, 3 months after the end of the year, it's sometimes challenging. That is because before you do your bank reconciliations, prepare your financial statements, subject them to audit, and the audit is completed within 3 months. I felt that can be a challenge on some of for some of the agencies. Okay. I wish the committee can consider this. Thank you.
Okay, I think I will allow the Vice Chair to respond to this question. He was a member of the then FPAC, and they made this recommendation. I know they know best why they recommended this to happen. Honorable Vice Chair.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. We understand your question, but we must also understand that the law is the law, and it was not made by accident. We have institutions that are actually very close to being compliant with the law. That's the Constitution and the Public Finance Act. But we also have some institutions for some unknown reasons, they've been behind by more than 5 years, and we cannot accept that anymore. Now, we also have institutions that come to us and say they have issues in getting auditors. But again, that's the responsibility of the Auditor General. But what we have also seen during the course of the 5 years, we've seen institutions not being cooperative with the auditors. They will make queries, and it takes you 7, 8 to 10 months, or sometimes 1 year to respond to those queries. We cannot accept that. However, we are aware that we may have some issues getting auditors to audit accounts, but we must also remember one thing. The preparations of the account is the responsibility of the institution, not the auditor. That must be very clear. The auditor just comes and looks at your financial statements, what you have prepared, and make an informed decision on what is available, what you have given them. So the responsibility of the preparation is the responsibility of the institution and not the auditor or the Auditor General. So we must do all what we can to ensure that we are compliant with the law, that's the Constitution and the Public Finance Act. And again, I may say again that some institutions are very close to being compliant with the law. So we cannot make any exceptions because the law is the law. So let's work together to ensure that we do what the law calls for. You prepare your accounts, but you must do away from using choir books to do your accounts. That we cannot accept at all. Those that are doing manual work in their accounting, of course, you will see that those are the ones that are behind. We don't live in a world where you use paper-based accounting system to records. We've gone past that. So you must do all what you can to ensure that you automate your systems. So every single transaction on daily basis, on weekly basis, you can capture in the system. So which means on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis, you can print reports indicating how far or what you have done during the course of the month or during the course of the quarter. And if you need assistance, the Accountant General will be in a better position to assist you according to the Public Finance Act. So we must go away from using manual accounting system, and we must automate your systems to be able to generate your reports on time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chair, for that clarification. Before we entertain another question, for further clarification, in respect to the question earlier on asked by the Honorable Minister, before me is the list of the institutions under FPAC. The Public Enterprises Committee focuses on the reports on the following 13 commercial public enterprises, and they are listed as follows: Gambia Ports Authority, Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation, Gambia Telecommunication Limited, Gambia Cellular Company Limited, GAMCEL, Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, Gambia International Airline, National Water and Electricity Company, Gambia National Petroleum Corporation, National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation, then Gambia Postal Service, Gambia Radio and Television Services, Gambia Public Printing Corporation, and Asset Management and Recovery Corporation. These are the 13 institutions that fall under the purview of FPAC, and as I said, the rest are under FPAC. Board activity and then financial statements. For the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, National Audit Office, Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, National Youth Service Scheme, Gambia Revenue Authority, Financial Intelligence Unit, Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, National Road Authority, National Nutrition Agency, National Agricultural Research Institute, Public Service Commission, Independent Electoral Commission, Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, GAIPA, Gambia Public Procurement Authority, National Environment Agency, National Council for Civic Education, National Center for Arts and Culture, Gambia Bureau of Statistics, Central Bank of the Gambia, Gambia National Library Service Authority, Gambia Tourism Board, Independence Stadium and Fancy Hotel, Gambia Technical Training Institute, National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, Office of the Ombudsman, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, Gambia Maritime Administration, National Youth Council, National Sport Council, Gambia Agency for the Management of the Public Works, National Disaster Management Agency, Management Development Institute, Alternative Dispute Resolution Secretariat, the Gambia Standard Bureau, Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, National Agency Against Trafficking in Person, Frafeni General Hospital, National Agency for Legal Aid, University of the Gambia, Gambia College, Guam General Hospital, Bundung Child Maternity General Hospital, Bansan General Hospital, Banyu City Council, Kanifi Municipal Council, Bikama Area Council, Mansakonga Area Council, Kontaur Area Council, Janjamure Area Council, Cherwan Area Council, Basse Area Council, National Assembly of the Gambia, said Regional Eye Care Center. These are the institutions and agencies that should be submitting their reports to FPAC. The National Assembly Services, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, and besides, we want to urge the respective ministries to ensure that all these institutions submit their reports on time as indicated in the schedule that will be dispatched to you later. Any further question or clarification? There's one at the corner. I hope you have not omitted any institution.
No, but it's not all inclusive.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm Muhammad Lamin Jaite, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health. I just want some clarification regarding notice of meetings, notice of appearance before the committee. What length of time, if there's any, that will be required for notice of meetings? For example, we realize, based on experience, that sometimes we receive notice of meetings a day before we are supposed to appear. And some of them require us to prepare reports, presentations, and bring facts before the National Assembly. So for the purpose of allowing ministries to do due diligence, I think we need to have a standard way of calling or sending out notices for meetings, and by giving sufficient time, or reasonable time, for sectors to also prepare. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that question. As I said, after this meeting, we'll have a final version of the schedule, and that will be dispatched to all institutions and ministries. Regarding the notice, that is 48 hours, except when we have emergency issues. But we'll endeavor to make sure we give notice within 48 hours. Emergency.
Yes, good morning, Chair. My name is Alaji Dabo, Director of Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU. I just want to seek some clarification regarding our own report. We sent in 2019, it was discussed, but it was not adopted. We are never called back to come and adopt that particular report. Then we sent in 2020 report. We are yet to be called to discuss that one. So I don't know which one are we invited to come and discuss. I just want to you to clarify that for me. Thank you very much.
Honorable Vice Chair.
Okay. Thank you. First, we will be dealing with the 2020, because 2019 is done. So on that day, we will tell you the outcome of our observation on the 2019, because we've already done our report. And once that is done, then we continue with the 2020 report. So we'll be dealing with the 2020, but we're going to give you feedback based on the previous engagement of the 2019 reports. Thank you.
We may not, or I may not have mentioned some of the institutions that I earlier on read. I think we still have GTHI that was omitted. It's also part of the institution that's supposed to submit their reports to FPAC this time around, not the Tourism Committee. Any question? If there is no question, we have announcement to make, the Vice Chair.
Thank you again, Honorable Chair. Now this is specifically for the Minister of Finance. We've made recommendations here last year on the budget, when you prepare the draft budget, and the budget as a whole, once it's approved. We want to see all the subvented institutions, their name captured, not bulk together as one. For example, when I look at the budget of the Office of the Vice President, I would like to see, or we would like to see, how much was allocated for NDMA. You put their name there. We would also like to see how much was allocated for NANA and the other institutions under their purview. Same thing applies to the Minister of Youth and Sport and the Minister of Finance. For example, what the exact amount that is allocated to GRA or SDF, it needs to be very clear. And we want to see subvented GRA or subvented SDF. If you go to Minister of Higher Education, also the same thing. Subvented UTG, subvented Gambia College, everybody will need to know exactly how much is allocated to them, and that's going to help the committees to be able to do their work better. Because if you bulk all the subventions under your ministry, it's going to be very difficult for the committees to know exactly how much was allocated to each of the institutions under your purview. So we want to get that broken down by the subvention institution and by their name, so that when we receive their budget from their own institution, then we'll be able to, reconcile. And that's also going to help the institutions, because for the most part, they will come and say, we don't know how much was approved for us, because we approve in bulk. So just to remind the Minister of Finance again, to ensure that when they prepare the draft budget, all those subvention institutions, their names must be shown and how much is actually allocated to them. Thank you.
Yes. So tomorrow we'll continue.
Okay, I'm going to finish.
Sorry.
Thank you very much, Chair. My name is Mr. Daud El Sise, Permanent Secretary, Office of the Vice President. Let me thank the Deputy for reminding our colleagues, Minister of Finance, about what happened to us last year. But however, my take is actually on your sitting procedures, number 6. I just want clarification on the issue of the auditing period you referenced here, 2016 to 2020, because we were summoned here last year, 2021, and actually there were a backlog of audit issues that have not been addressed, dating back to 2013, 14, 15. So can we have an update on that? Is it cleared before we jump to 2016? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We understand there are institutions that still, as you indicated, the backlog of reports, and that is from 2016 to 2020. Now, generally, we are considering to have the reports from 2016 to 2020. Now, the institutions that fall under that category, 2016 to 2020, will be affected. But for those that have reports, let's say from 2016 to 2017 or 18, treated, would not be affected. Okay, the committee had what we call accumulated reports to be submitted to the plenary, and that is indicated in that particular report. So where you stop with your submission, we are going to start from there. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much for that clarification. I would want to request that we have a pre-budget session with the Ministry of Finance, whereby we will lay out the format, presentations, factors that the Finance Ministry consider very pertinent in the preparation of the budget. Thank you.
That's fine. It's okay. We can wait also.
Okay, that's noted. We'll liaise with the Office of the Clerk. Any question?
Yeah, just another reminder with some of the institutions. We are trying to be up to date. I know institutions like the Central Bank, the Gambia Revenue Authority, the University of the Gambia, they are very close to be very compliant with the law. But we also have institutions, like I said earlier, they are behind by 5 years or more. And we are saying they need to do whatever they need to do to ensure that before the end of this year, they are compliant with the law. Because 5 years is, again, too long. And again, for us, it's a waste of time to discuss issues that actually has happened 5 years ago. So we want to deal with things that are last year or this year. You know, current issues, not things that are 5 years old. So we are urging all institutions that actually have not submitted 2016 to 2020 to do whatever it takes to ensure that they are compliant, because we cannot wait anymore. Thank you.
Any question? I think all institutions have been given the copy of the schedule, and that is the final schedule from the committee. That means as from tomorrow we are continuing with our sittings. It appears that some ministries are supposed to appear tomorrow, but almost all the ministers are here, so there is no need for the ministers to appear tomorrow. But institutions under the said ministries that are scheduled for tomorrow should appear. That is institutions under Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Regional Government, Ministry of Public Policy, and then Ministry of Environment. These are the institutions that are scheduled to appear tomorrow. For the ministers, already they are here, no need to come tomorrow. Honorable Minister?
Chairman, already we have our permanent secretaries, Director Generals, all of them here. And we're supposed to be at a retreat tomorrow in which they are also supposed to be present. And I think that's the reason why we got all the two groups together, for us to appear together so as to be able to be at the retreat tomorrow. So if you want to remove them from there, it will create another problem for us both at the retreat and at this end.
Yeah, our understanding is that maybe it's the ministers who are all here, not the institutions. But if you are saying institutions are also here, alongside with their ministers, we'll try to check the attendance to ensure if that's the case, then we'll see what to do.
Mr. Chairman, I can assure you in my ministry, all my people are here.
This is silence.
The Ministry of Tourism is speaking for himself that all his institutions are here. So we are not sure whether that's the case for other ministries. We have the Ministry of Tourism confirming that all its institutions are here. And I don't know the higher education minister, whether he's here.
Gambia College Youth. Education is there. Yeah, it's there. No, we can put them on just to be sure.
Mr. Chairman, some of our guys are not around today, so but they will be here tomorrow.
Okay. How about the Ministry of Justice? The agencies on the Ministry of Justice, the minister is not here. Then that means the ones scheduled for tomorrow on the Ministry of Justice should appear. And himself, he is not here. The Ministry of Interior,
I know my family secretary is here, but the ID was on top. So we let them know for them to go, but I would like to have my family secretary with more consent.
okay. HE Vice President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The retreat should have started today. We postponed it because of this session. I would like to appeal to this august body. If there are outstanding issues with certain ministries, as a way of meeting us halfway, if perhaps you could meet them on Friday, because this retreat is important. We are setting milestones, you know, in security, in the cost of living, in land, tourism, foreign policy, and all those things. And these technicians are important to these retreats. It is not the usual retreats where people just make general statements. This is a retreat with an action plan, tasks, time budgets, deliverables. So I would like to appeal to this august body, to meet the rest of the technicians on Friday morning, if that is possible. Thank you very much.
On Friday we don't have any. Okay. We don't have any for this committee. Okay. So like for the agencies in place, it's just the council.
Well, how do you say
not only justice Friday, we don't have any business.
Okay, that's what we are trying to check.
Let's confirm from the Minister of Land is also not here. And public policy is here, but I don't know if the agencies on that.
Let's check the ministry.
Friday, we don't have any. Friday?
Yes, we have Friday.
Ministry of Local Government.
Local government.
Ministry of Regional Government.
Let's have
Maybe he can give us the assurances, all the ministries that are here.
Yeah, I think we'll get to the request made by His Excellency, but let's just do the confirmation of the respective ministries. Then we will know which ministries are affected. The Ministry of Regional Government, whether the minister is here, not around. The Public Policy Minister.
He's around.
Whether your agencies are here.
He doesn't have any.
PSC.
PSC is around.
The Minister for Regional.
Regional.
Yeah,
he may not know.
Mr. Chairman, good morning, everyone. I am here with the Permanent Secretary, PMO,
okay.
Which is the technical arm of PSC, but I have not seen the chairman, PSC. So if they have not seen him yet. Great, okay. So PSC is here, PMO is here.
Okay, good. Okay. Then I think that ministry is clear.
Thank you.
Regional government. He's absent.
Regional government is just arriving. He may not be in position to know whether his people are here or not.
Okay. Environment, yeah.
The Ministry of Environment Minister, where is around? No, local government councils not here.
Council, they're not here. So then you have to come back to the microphone. Press the mic here.
Okay. Happy to inform you that my PS and the rest of the technical team are all here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How about the agencies under your ministry?
The agencies as well.
Then you are also clear.
So roll call. Do the roll call.
Yeah, so the rest.
I think for local government, I can tell that the councils are not here. So with that, the good number of the agencies under the local government are not around. So we will see and then try to look into the request made by the Vice President. Yes.
No. There are more that are not here.
Friday, what you did on Friday?
Yeah, why not do you just announce those ministries? You task it to ensure that those people, ministers that are not here, including local government, they come on Friday.
Yes.
And let them go sort that.
Yes.
So on the 10th.
Yes. At 10 o'clock.
Huh?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's
okay.
proceed.
I'm not getting you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Having consulted among ourselves and then the schedule before us, we observed that the committee has no engagement on Friday. And then we've considered to honor the request made by the Vice President, but we equally task him to make sure the institutions that are affected appear on Friday. Honorable HE Vice President. The institutions are the ones that are listed to appear tomorrow. The ones that are cleared, no need for them to come. Only the ones that are not cleared. I can say higher education, the Honorable Minister said some are here, some are not here. The ones that are not here should appear on Friday. Then the Ministry of Justice, the Minister himself is not here. He should be here with his whole team. And then the Interior, some are here and some are not here, the ones that are not here. Likewise, Health, Regional Government, these are the ministries that are affected. Tourism is cleared, Public Policy is cleared, and then Environment also is cleared.
Why don't we check the orders? Agriculture and the use and sports, where they're clear.
They fall on that. What he's telling me, initially we scheduled other ministries and then agencies to appear today. Whether those ones also are here also is something that we're supposed to confirm, so that if they are not here, they can also appear on Friday as well. Office of the Vice President. The Vice President, whether your agencies are here, if you can confirm.
Director of Finance and DMA also is here.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, as far as the Office of the Vice President is concerned, our agencies are present. NANA and DMA, the ones you've listed, are already here.
Okay.
Thank you.
National population. That's national population.
Yeah, that one they don't come.
They don't come at all. Okay, because they are part of the
Finance.
I think most of the agencies, all the agencies in the Ministry of Finance are here.
All. Trade. For the same person?
Yes. Yes, they are also.
Okay. So trade is also clear. Youth and sports, the minister?
Good morning. Chair, yes, for the youth and sports, all of us are here. Myself, the Permanent Secretary, Deputy Permanent Secretary, and the directors and the deputies of the institutions.
All your agencies are here?
Yes, they are.
How about NEDI? Are they here? Yes? NYSS? They're here. Minister, I know your agencies. Very good.
Defense.
Defense.
No, we don't have defense.
No, defense is not the agriculture.
Agriculture.
No, before that, digital economy. Ministry of digital economy.
Digital economy. The minister is not here?
Not appointed.
Oh, not appointed, but somebody is overseeing. Information. Yes. Okay. So let's take that the agencies to those that are not here should equally appear on Friday. Works and transport, the same minister. The peers is coming.
Okay, Mr. Chair, the ministry is here with the National Road Authority. The other agencies are not in today. They are scheduled for tomorrow and other days.
Okay. The ones that are not here can appear on Friday.
No problem. We will communicate.
Okay. Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm here with the Deputy Permanent Secretary, but I'm sure there are agencies that are not here and hope they will appear on Friday.
Okay, I'm going to inform that all my technicians are here.
All the agencies are here.
Yes.
Technicians.
We have National Chief Secretary here. We have the Livestock Marketing Agency is here, and we have NARI Director General, so all our technicians are here.
How about Walik? Is Walik here?
No. Walik? Not on there.
Walik is not here.
Okay.
They are not submitting
reports.
They are not submitting reports. They are not submitting reports to.
Yeah, but they need to be doing that there. Yeah, they are submitted. They are submitted. They came during the budget to appeal for it. Okay.
Gender and children.
Good morning, Mr. Chairperson. I'm here with the Permanent Secretary, but then we have two other directives under us which have not been invited. That is the Directive of Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment, Directive of Social Welfare, and Directive of Child Protection. They have not been invited, that's why they are not here. But if you wish to invite them, we can inform them, then on Friday they'll be here to take part.
Okay. They are scheduled to appear today, then that means they should appear on Friday.
What I'm saying is they are not invited. You know, we are a new ministry. Maybe you are aware of these new directives under us. Okay. But I'm here with the Permanent Secretary. So we'll inform the other directors, so they'll be here on Friday.
Okay. Noted. I think that's all. That's all. The ministries that are cleared and then the ones that are not cleared, they are all duly informed that they should appear Friday, 10 a.m. I think that's all. Yes. Which of them? Which institution? No, I'm not going to can clear. Yeah. Yeah. So I
think that's it.
As I said earlier, on the schedules were already dispatched to the various ministries or agencies. And you can take note of the dates that you're supposed to appear so that you can work onto your reports. And we soliciting mutual cooperation between you and then the committee as indicated We indicated this time round at the end of the committee session, that is June, July, the committee will be compiling its report and report to the plenary. It will not be like accumulating our reports. Anytime we end any committee session, we're expecting to report to the plenary. Whatever has been reported from the respective institutions, exactly this is what we are going to report to the plenary. If we have found wanting, well, your respective select committees and standing committees will be implementing duly the recommendations that are going to be made by the FPAC committee. In the absence of no other question or clarification, can we, Honorable Minister?
Thank you, Chair. I've seen that the Ministry of Finance and GPPA are scheduled for June 24th on the consultation of the GPPA bill.
June
24th. Given the very important role of this act, this act has been pending for 2 years, and our donor partners are very urgently seeking its ratification. So I would seek your indulgence if you can bring this forward.
June 24th.
Thank you.
We are suspending the law,
No,
actually.
it's a different thing.
They are scheduled for GPPA.
The presentation of the report.
It's not this one.
June 24th. Okay, 24th.
So you know now the consideration on the bills.
Okay. We've noted that I want to report that there are legal issues surrounding the bills that were presented to the 5th legislature and could not be completed. Until we resolve that, we'll be suspending any activity in relation to the bill. When that is resolved, we'll communicate to you. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Just for the attention of the August Assembly, the budget support was postponed last year because of the non-ratification of this bill. So just to put things in context, whatever legal work needs to be done, please. I was with the bank yesterday in the evening, and they reiterated the same position. Thank you.
Yes, okay.
Yes, thank you. We are aware of that, but you know the bill came with 2 other bills. But we have something we call certificate of urgency, and we were expecting the ministry at the time to come up with that certificate of urgency. Then it could have been resolved at that time. But only the Minister of Health came with a certificate of urgency, and we dealt with those bills that they deemed very urgent and very important. So we couldn't have time until we finished the session. So that's why it actually overlapped. But we're going to take that into consideration. Once the legal issues are resolved within the Parliament, then we're going to let you know. But we are aware of the issue.
I was calling ministries to confirm whether all their agencies are here. IEC. Is IEC here? Okay.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The IEC is fully represented.
NAO.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay.
You should be here.
You should be here. Okay. I didn't know that. Then these are
Central Bank,
GPPA. GRA. Central Bank. Okay. GRA. Good. So the institutions that are not here are the ones that are supposed to appear. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But really, I do know it's been explained, but there are so many things hinging on this. And if we do need a certificate of urgency, please advise us and we'll proceed accordingly. But this can't wait anymore. Just to put in context, the current engagement with the donors, both the fund and the bank, very concerned that a vital legislation like this was left unattended for 2 years. And we have taken it upon ourselves and assured them that we will do the needful to expedite its ratification. So we indulge your assistance as a committee if you can assist to fast track it in any way possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Well noted. The office of the clerk will be consulted will be consulted on the issue, and then he will advise adequately as the way forward. On Haiti, Vice President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Can we submit a request for an extraordinary session of the Assembly and issue a certificate of urgency, since this is contingent on the budget support? If that is due process, then we can follow that due process. Or you advise us on due process and the executive will execute as appropriate.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We will first resolve the issue surrounding the bill, because the bill was, laid on for the 5th legislature, and there are some parliamentary issues surrounding bills being transferred from one legislature to the other. We are trying to resolve that internally, and once that is resolved, which I'm very hopeful is going to be done very quickly, then we will advise you on the next step. That is, if you're going to do certificate of urgency, then the officer of the clerk is going to liaise with you. But until we resolve the issues surrounding the bill, that one and another, the anti-corruption bill, then we'll not be able to tell you exactly when that's going to happen. But we are working internally with the legal office within to resolve that issue, and then we'll advise you.
As I said earlier on, then the office of the clerk, after that consultation with our legal team, would be advised, and then equally they too will guide us as what we should do next. What is a concern to the committee? The matter was raised yesterday at the Bureau of Committees meeting, so it's equally a concern to the committee and then even the Assembly as a whole.
No, they have to raise a motion. They have to make a motion to withdraw it.
Yeah, they will be guided. Don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you very much. At this juncture, we've now come to the end of the briefing session. Can we pray silently individually